My punishment continues to elude me, and I gain no deeper knowledge of myself. No new knowledge can be extracted from my telling. This confession has meant nothing.
The narcissist displays grandiosity, entitlement, and superiority, and wants nothing more than admiration. Once he gets what he wants, the narcissist is rarely interested in other people. When he does care, it's to enhance his status, which is why he likes to mingle with successful others. They seem as though they're completely in love with themselves, but at the root of their inflated egos are often deeply held feelings of inferiority. To protect their constructed self, they can never admit to being wrong, which is why they lie or blame others.
On the rocks.
These aren't good anymore. It's a cash bar. For $25.
You're a fucking ugly bitch.
And oysters on the half shell.
I'm trying to listen to the new Robert Palmer tape, but Evelyn, my supposed fiancée, keeps buzzing in my ear.
Palmer first. Any Leibovitz. We'll get any Leibovitz. And we'll have to get someone to videotape. Patrick, we should do it.
Do what?
Get married, have a wedding.
No, I can't take the time off work.
I hate that job anyway. See why you just don't quit.
Because I want to fit in.
Patrick, thanks so much for looking after Courtney. Dorcia, how impressive. How on earth did you get a reservation there?
Lucky, I guess.
Valentino Couture.
Uh-huh.
You look so soft.
Your compliment was sufficient, Louis.
How the hell are you?
Alan has mistaken me for this dickhead Marcus Halberstram. It seems logical because Marcus also works at PNP and in fact does the same exact thing I do. Marcus and I even go to the same barber, although I have a slightly better haircut. New card. What do you think?
Look at that.
Picked them up from the printers yesterday.
Good coloring.
That's bone.
What do you think?
Nice. I can't believe that Bryce prefers Van Patten's card to mine.
Okay, so I have a definition of narcissism that's a little different from other people's. Normally we think of a narcissist as someone who loves themselves. And I'm actually saying that a narcissist is a person who doesn't love themselves sufficiently. So in order to get through life, we have to have a degree of self-esteem. We have to think that we're worthy of certain things. We have to have a sense of inner worth. If we don't have that kind of bedrock from within, we constantly need attention and validation from other people, right? I need attention, I need to stir trouble, I need to feed my ego. I can't get it from myself, I have to get it from other people. That's a classic, what I call a deep narcissist. And that's why they cause so many problems in life. And I measure it. I say, imagine it like a water line. And here at the top is someone who's not a narcissist. Here at the middle is kind of an average person. And as you sink deeper into narcissism, you're more and more self-absorbed. You can never get up to that mid-level point where you can start thinking about other people. At the high point, you're someone who's very empathetic. You're able to get inside the mind of other people. You understand their moods, their emotions. Most of us fall at that range of maybe 60%, 50 being the middle line. We have moments of narcissism where we get self-absorbed, particularly if we have problems, and we turn inward. But then we have enough self-esteem because of our parents and because of our background that we raise ourselves back up and we don't keep continually sinking into that narcissism. We want to get higher, we want to get to that level where we're able to be more empathetic. A deep narcissist has sunk so far below that they can never get up to even to that halfway point. They're so self-absorbed, they're so insecure, they constantly must stir up trouble, they need to be the center of attention. If to be the center of attention means to create a great work of art, that's fine. But sometimes to be the center of attention means to mess with people, to create problems, to stir up trouble, and to be at the center of that. Once somebody is at that level, like a 20 or 30, and these are just arbitrary numbers.
Sure.
There's nothing that's going to raise them back up. That's who they are. There's nothing they can do. There's almost nothing other people can do They are what's the word? They're damaged goods. A lot
There's
of
nothing that can happen.
I don't think so.
Wow. Those are some strong words right there.
Well, I have a story, actually a story that got cut from the book. If you got my bonus material, if you pre-order The Laws of Human Nature, you get some bonus material. There's a story I cut that I give you about Robert Oppenheimer, the physicist, who was a deep narcissist who managed to kind of cure himself. And the way he cured himself was through work. Instead of absorbing himself in getting attention, he put all of his energy into the Manhattan Project and into later becoming a great physicist, sort of a public figure. He turned against nuclear arms, etc. He sort of cured himself. You can perhaps cure yourself through your work, through getting out of this, getting your attention through what you achieve rather than through what you stir up from other people. But generally, once you get down past that low level, there's nothing you can do because you're addicted to getting attention from other people.
Narcissistic personality disorder is one of the severe personality disorder that presents borderline personality organization. As a secondary defense against the fragmenting of one's self-concept and of one's concept of significant others, and all this struggle between idealized and persecutory segments of experience, they have managed to construct what we call a pathological grandiose self that is constituted by a combination of ideal aspects of the self, ideal aspects of others that have been incorporated as if one possessed them, and ideal aspirations of the self as if one had achieved them, while at the same time one's need of others is denied, is devalued. Others are devalued. We don't need them, we are fine. I'm just great by myself, I don't need anybody else. There is an ideal internal world of grandiosity and self-sufficiency, and the rest of the world is constituted by depreciated, worthless people, those who are great and one still has to admire in order to incorporate everything they have, and those who are potential enemies one has to fight off. That structure means that the person seems to be integrated in a way. He's not divided and becomes quite secure. They look much better than the other severe personality disorders. They show on the surface self-satisfaction, grandiosity, excessive concern with themselves, a tremendous need to be admired, but without any mutuality of the relationship. So there is an abnormal love of the self, incapacity to love others, an internal sense of grandiosity and emptiness at the same time. In the treatment, grandiosity becomes the dominant transference issue. They have to show their superiority to the therapist and keep themselves superior to the therapist, because the only alternative is then, if they would need the therapist, it means that the therapist is superior to them and they would feel immediately inferiorized, humiliated. So there is a long-term struggle. Who is going to be superior, who is going to be inferior, without a capacity for real dependency that gradually has to be clarified and resolved. And then the underlying problem of severe splits between idealized and persecutory relationship come to the fore, the underlying borderline structure against which the narcissistic structure was a defense.
It's not victim blaming to say that there's probably more that we could all be doing and could all have done to avoid narcissistically abusive relationships. It's not victim blaming, it's just a statement of simple fact. Sometimes it's simply a failure to follow a straightforward protocol of discernment and intentionality. What kind of relationship are you entering into? Is it a familial? Is it a professional? Is it a romantic relationship? What do you want from that relationship? What are your boundaries? Have you considered them ahead of time? So if you float whimsically into relationships with no real intention, a massive amount of permissiveness, not much demand from yourself or from the other person as to what it is you want and what the objective of the scenario is, it doesn't mean you're at fault for getting into a narcissistically abusive relationship, far from it. But what we could say is, had you had an intention and some boundaries, you probably wouldn't have gotten into that narcissistically abusive relationship. So when I talk about developing a moral philosophy, this is one of the things that it does, is it protects us from bad people and bad situations. But in order to protect us, I have to be able to recognize for myself that which is good and acceptable and that which is bad and rejectable. And then I have to apply that as an actual rule in my life, even if it's not convenient. And even if it's not the most pleasurable choice in the moment. That is an actual moral philosophy that defends me from trouble. A tremendous amount of the lingering pain that comes after a narcissistically abusive relationship is far more context specific than we realize and than our brain will tell us is the case. What I mean by this is, we focus on that which happened. We focus on the person that did it. We focus on the story and the timeline and the history and the drama of what happened. But what we don't see, what is invisible to the brain in many ways, is the context that's occurring now that we actually do have control over. For example, because of my narcissistically abusive relationship, I now have less money. I now find it harder to get work. I have a smaller friend group. I have damaged relationships with family members. It's harder for me to date and to build intimate relationships with new prospective partners. That's a problem. And that's context. That's out there in the world. That's a real fixable problem in the real world. It's not a neurosis. It's not a trauma response. It's not, well, some of these things are as a result of a trauma response, but it's not in me. It's not a psychological problem. These are practical problems. So as far as possible, the victims of narcissistic abuse in their road to recovery should seek to resolve the practical problems in their lives. If you want to feel better, and as a result of the narcissistically abusive relationship, you now have less money, you now have less opportunity, you now have a smaller friend group, fix those issues first. Sort your life out. Have friends, have fun, have prospects, move forward, and you won't feel as tortured and obsessed with the past and this person as you have been.
There is an idea of a Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And though I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there.